I've been in a fight with my machine for the last forever, and I don't know if I'm actually live or not. Hold on. Let's see if this happened or not. My channel and... Am I live? My channel and... Hey, I'm live. Rumba! I'll be my first live. Hey, and... Rumba! There we go. Okay, cool. So, hey, we're back. We're going to do some playtest design tonight. Give me a quick minute here for me to... if you check down in the description down below, you will see a link to my Twitter. It seems to have flaked out on us. Hold on real quick. Super disappointing that this disappeared. Just gonna go with what do I do? I go with click and then quote tweet, and then go here, and then copy. Give me a second here. I'm posting a thing. The Spelljammer plus Descent into Avernus Playtesting. Get rid of that, and then go here, cut, paste. Sorry, this is a rough start. I didn't expect this. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to run my life without being such a tragedy. So if you've joined and followed me on Twitter, you will at this point be seeing a message saying, hey, I just went live. I'm doing some playtesting stuff today. I'm just going to kick through my Discord channels here real quick to spread the word. Spread the good news, the gospel to DMsGuild, to Indestructible Boys Design-a-Sphere, to the Drive-Thru RPG community, to Trent Monk's Discord channel, to Dungeoneers Pack. Shout out to Classes and Constructs, as well as Zippy DM and Cleric Corner, Rich Mary. Getting to the end of the list of folks that I like to hang out at. Fry Minis, not quite last, definitely not least. And then the flagship D&D Discord. So if you know me from any of those Discord channels, you will maybe get a ping that I've gone live. So let's see, what are we getting into? So yeah, I've been designing Spelljammer content for the past month since Spelljammer came out, but we had been doing Infernal War Machines since I think like episode 28 of this mess. Actually, probably 32. Before that was some 4X game system design, and then before that was Greenest in Flames for first level characters leading militia of villagers against kobold raiders. But obviously in the past 8 some odd episodes, maybe, I don't remember how many, at least 4, we've been doing Spelljammer content. If you check in the link below, there is a document that you will have access to, and let me flip my screen around. I apparently can't flip my screen around. I've got a weird glitch going on. I've got a weird glitch going on with my OBS that it is just not letting me do the stuff that I expect to be able to do, which is super obnoxious. Okay, so what we'll just have to do is we'll just have to finish the work that we're doing here in Photoshop and then kill Photoshop so that our main screen can take over, because I can't, for whatever reason, my OBS is frozen. So it'll record me, but it won't let me actually engage the GUI. So I'm kind of stuck inside here for now. But so we've been doing a bunch of mechanics, and you can check the link down below to the Patreon link. The Patreon link takes you to the About page where this document, where this project is being developed, as well as the playtest document that we've been working on. That's one of the things that we've been working on. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We've been working on the Crystals of Mabar, which is an Eberron adventure. We've been designing the book cover here. We're going to continue with that this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to finishing this out. and getting into more map development for that and more interior artwork for the Eberron adventure. It is looking fantastic. Stuart Braz is our editor, and Annie Healy, the old goat, he is my co-writer. The layout, I mean, we've built the whole thing. We've done a lot of play testing. We've handed it off to DMs. They all come back saying, hey, they like it. This thing's fun and good to go. So we're moving forward with production. So Stuart is going through the editing process now, so that hopefully in the next couple weeks he can hand that back to me for me to start layout production and just building the book, and we'll just see how it all flows. I'm really excited about that. But that is not what we are today to do, because today we are descending into Avernus once again, and we are playtesting content for the Infernal War Machines. We're now at level 12. And so the team has been working mostly at the 50-foot scale. We were operating with convoys at the 500-foot scale last week on the ground against the Hell Wasp Hornet battle, and there was 4 of them on the battle. They were on the field. There were 12th level. They were each controlling two convoys of trucks that fit in 500-foot squares, and in 50-foot squares. They were dealing with you can fit more than one truck in a 50-foot square, up to 5 demon grinders in a like, if this is, sorry, let me just do this because this is what we do, because it's Thursday. I'm gonna grab this and push this up a bit. And okay, great. So let's get the color that we want to work in today, Phil. Cool. So, and it's not quite there yet. Thank you. There we go. So we know from previous sessions that a Tormentor truck is, or a Demon Grinder is a 4x3, or fits inside of a 4x4 square, but doesn't fill the entire space. Who we got? Hey, Surstar. What up? Hail Tiamat, indeed, my friend. Hail Tiamat. Okay, so we know from previous conversations that a Demon Grinder, which is a gargantuan-sized truck in Infernal War Machines, we know that's what we're capable of doing. So hold on, I think I neglected a button. Give me a second. Give me a hot second, because I think I forgot to kick signal. Live to get spoilers, team. I've got my playtest team. Surstar is one of them, so I decided to kick out a spoiler just now. Okay, cool. So, okay, great. Hold on, checking in. Okay, great. So, all right, great. So we know from previous that a Demon Grinder fills a 3x4 space. We know that a Tormentor, and these are the trucks that are in Descent into Avernus. We know that a Tormentor is a huge size vehicle, but it's not a giant square. So this is the size that it fills. You kind of have like monster wheels here. So like if you shift it over, it still fits inside of that 3x3 space. That's kind of your narrative. And like this Demon Grinder thing, it has 2 small front sets, and then it's got larger wheels in the back. Right, that's your Demon Grinder, and then it's got the Wrecking Ball off the back swing, and can hit anything that's 15 feet away. So these are our trucks, but you notice in a 50-foot square you can fit more than one truck. So that's how the Infernal War Machine convoy system works, in that we already know what the capabilities of an Infernal War Machine is, which is basically it has its space. In this case, I'm gonna just get rid of the treads just to keep things easy. We know the Demon Grinder is a 1, 2, 3, 4. It fits inside a 4x4 space, so it is going to have a measly 40 hit points, plus whatever the pilot has. So at 12th level, our pilot's going to have like 102 to 140 hit points, most likely, plus the 40 from the Demon Grinder. So you can take as much damage as you want. You can let the Demon Grinder take some of it, but this places whoever your pilot's going to be in a high-risk category. But what they get out of it is they get to use their, again, we've talked about this God knows how many times, You get object interaction to drive the truck once. You've got your bonus action to use a dash, a disengage, or a dodge action. And then you've got a standard action, which you could use to, again, move a third time, or disengage, or dodge. So you can move your truck you can move your truck 3 times at most, or if you rather, you can move it once, dodge, and disengage. So you can do high maneuvering with low risk, or you can like move twice and then use use dodge. So whoever's on your truck gets the benefit of enemies being at disadvantage to attack you. So that's how your pilot operates. But your pilot can also instead use their bonus or their action to command crew on the truck to fire weapons for you, right? So if you're on this truck and each one of these harpoon flingers do 2d8 damage, piercing damage from the DMG. So if you've got a pilot, the pilot can drive once, can use a verbal action to have the truck attack once, so all weapons fire, pew, and then you can mix up your bonus action and action between either piloting the truck more to give your team advantage, or you could be issuing extra attacks for your team to use, or if you've got a like a ram or like a demon chewer or like wheel blades on the side, you can use an attack action to do a ram attack as a melee attack with the truck. And then if you have multiple attacks, 1, 5, 11, looking at you, fighter, 20, you've got 1 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack, crack. And so at 12th level, a fighter has 3 attacks per action. So you can ram, and then object interaction, drive your truck, and then as an object you're driving your truck as an object interaction, and then as a verbal action, your weapon crews on the back are firing, and then your bonus action could be any of these things. Or you can scale out to controlling your convoy. So a convoy then is a group of trucks. I see you. I'm going to speak to you. Hold on. I'm just on a rant. So like you can fit 4 demon grinders in a 50-foot square. So this is your convoy, and instead of having pew 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 pew, a bunch of guns firing off doing like 18d8 damage, it's just easier to just list it as d8 times 10 damage. And then you've got your verbal action for the convoy to fire, and then your action economy from multi-attacks, however many you have of those. And if it's a monster, and if the monster has the multi-attack option as one of its actions, it can exchange all of its multi-attacks to orders to fire. So, can't relate. Imagine being the yeah, I love doing playtests because I regularly run high tier DM. I DM high tier games. My weekly, my casual team, as it were, my lunchtime adventure team, my coworkers. I play D&D with my coworkers as a lunchtime break activity. So we have like about an hour and a half once a week for us to just sit down and hammer out a few scenarios and plan for our next moves and crawl through the dungeon or fight a demon or whatever. And we're all 16th level right now. So the playtest that we're building for right now is 12th level, and that's well within my sphere. Normally it takes, like with only an hour or so of lunch, it takes to rack up the 250 hours that you need to go from level 1 to 20. We're on our 4th year right now. So the time, it's a Groundhog's Day time loop adventure where the characters have until the end of the day to save the world, and they every time they either die in the process or the day ends on them, they hit like at the 18th hour of being awake, they get 1 level of exhaustion until at the 24th hour they just automatically die from exhaustion and the day resets. That's the mechanic for the Groundhog's Day campaign. So they've been playing the same day for 4 years, or about 220 hours at this point of in-game time, actual table time. And they're 16th level. They're about to get to 17th level, and they've just found a ritual that will let them reset their Groundhog Day. Like when they wake up in the morning, they can change the date that they wake up on, but that'll be their new set day. So then they'll skip on another day, and the world will be different for them. And they're trying to find a way, well, how do we calibrate this ritual so we land on at the time that we need to be able to stop the world from ending? Because it's too late by the time you become aware of it. We have to shift our Groundhog Day to be able to align up to a point where we can actually do something. So now they have to do a time-space exploration to see if where they land, they have the bandwidth to be able to achieve the goals that they need to save the world from what turns out to be an Illithid invasion force from another dimension. So it's trapped inside of a matrix bubble. The entire world of Eberron is trapped inside a time matrix, and they can step in and out of it through the astral plane and engage the world as it is or disengage from it. And so they've been manipulating. They can move to different points in time inside of that time-space bubble, and the players are stuck inside of it. But they got out a couple levels ago. They found their way outside of it and went into the Illithid bunker or fortress science lab actually, and started tearing things up inside of there and rescuing people from matrix machinery and stuff like that to build allies inside of the time system. So now they're building an army to go try to fight off the point of destruction anyway. The whole world is ending, and even the Illithid don't know how to fix it. So it's kind of the Illithid actually need the players to fix it, but the Illithid don't know what the players are trying to do. The players don't know what the Illithid are trying to do. Spoiler alert to anyone that's in my game. But this is stuff that they've kind of figured out. Like they have to figure out a way to get ahead of the destruction so that they can stop it, and that's their. Like I said, they're about to step into the 17th level, so it's a really high-level campaign, and it's time-space puzzles where if a threat kills them, it just resets them back to the day, and they have to figure out a different way to go after it. So all the battles and all the traps and snares, it's all save or die, or like at 5th level, they were being hit by a dragon that would do 80 points of damage with one shot. So like they were constantly just getting one shot by shit over and over again. So it's a fun campaign. It's the first time. The parameters of that campaign was we want to play level 1 to 20 to get a full campaign. These are all first-time players. They've never played 5e or even D&D before. So all of them are like, we want to have a 1 to 20 campaign, the full gamut. We don't want to lose our characters. We want to complete our story arc. And other than that, we don't care what you do. Just come up with something. So the only way for me to be able to run a 1 to 20 campaign that guarantees they can have the same character from start to end, but still threaten them, is to trap them inside of Groundhog's Day. And the whole campaign has been, if we get outside of out of the Groundhog Day loop, but screw up saving the world, does that mean we die with it? If we figure out how to save the world, but we're still trapped inside the time bubble, do we just have to keep doing it over and over again? How do we get both of those things? Those are the two objectives they're trying to achieve inside the campaign, and it's a ranger, a rogue, and a druid. We had 5 people, but over the past 4 years, we've lost people, and we weren't able to replace them fast enough, and now it's so far deep into it that we don't want to. We're having a hard time bringing people in because they just bounce off of how insider game it is at this point. It's so meta. Once you get to 13th level or higher in a campaign that started from level 1, the meta gets so deep that the game is its own. Like it's not. You can't. Like, the reason why they stopped Descent into Avernus and all these other games at 15th level or 12th level is because after you've ran your game that long, you start building an internal culture of your table agreed on social contracts about how we're going to run this game. And it starts off at level 1 with the first adventure when the DM serves consequences to the team for doing stuff. If they say stupid stuff and then lose out on social interaction, they learn not to say stupid stuff on the fly. If they ignore a threat and that threat ends up destroying something that they wanted, then they realize if they ignore threats, the world changes and they don't have control over what those changes are. So they have to pick their priorities and pursue what is actually interesting to them. Meaning that other stuff is going to go on in the background and it's going to either get solved or that plot will actually be achieved and your world advances. So like just as a quick, I guess if I were to make a quick aside, it would be that when you're building a campaign, you want to braid it. And what I mean by braids is, I'm just going to use, instead of using my hand so much. Okay, so if you're braiding, you've got plot lines, right? You got your start of your game and you got your end of your game. And you've got points in between where you should be checking in with your team about where they're at and where they're going. When they start the game, you want to, in your mind, you want to have 2 or 3 major plot like things that are happening in the area that could potentially bump into each other. Like there could be a thieves guild in town that's trying to rob a bunch of, that's trying to rob a wizard. Meanwhile, that wizard is hiring you to investigate this thing that he needs investigated. And then on top of that, there's reports coming from the nearby forest that there's monsters that they don't identify. Well, the monsters are part of that thing that the wizard needs to investigate. Meanwhile, the thieves guild is going to take out the wizard that's employing you. So, like, if you are pursuing the wizard's path, then you're going to end up in the forest anyway. So either one of those plot lines work for you. So those things are traveling together. But then you have this other plot line that the team can't address, depending on which one they go with. So like the middle one is the wizard. He's the connector. But then over here you've got go to the woods, and then over here you've got stick around and find out what's going on with the thieves guild if you catch wind that they're screwing around. You can do one or the other. If you start screwing around with the thieves guild, the forest gets worse. If you go into the forest to try to resolve whatever that's got going on, the thieves guild gets the wizard, and then you lose out on the stuff. So as the characters make choices about what they want to do, they'll let one thread go and then they'll work it into another one. So what you're doing is you're braiding these things together. Like I chose this thread over these other 2. So then as this evolves, now I'm dealing with forest stuff. I've got the monsters that I wanted to deal, I'm going to do it here. In this second string of decisions now of branching choices, you've got these 2 down here, which were ignored, which is, there was only really 2. There's going to the forest, or there's check out what's going on with the Thieves Guild. Both of them affect the wizard. So if you go with the forest, the Thieves Guild is untended, and then the wizard drops off. So when you're here in the forest, all of this wizard stuff is going on. Here in the forest, you've got check out this ruins that you find, or pursue the tracks of what the villagers are saying were monsters in the woods. Maybe it ends up that the tracks lead to the fortress, but a different entrance. So you have to go through the fortress down to another level, and at that point you find entrance where these creatures were coming from, and that's when you connect the dots. Coming through the fortress, going down, you find the monsters. Pursuing the monsters through the basement leads you up to the top of the citadel. So either way, you end up going to that same location in the forest, and while you resolve the monsters and the thing that the wizard wanted, by the time you get back, the wizard's gone, the place has been ransacked, and you already knew there was a new thieves guild in town that was causing trouble with arcanists. So you're going to put 2 and 2 together. It's like, well, we got to go figure out where did our paycheck go? We need our paycheck. So that's what you ended up doing. So now you go, this thread has been resolved, and now you've got this new one. You're finally dealing with the Thieves Guild. And when you get to the Thieves Guild, maybe there is like, this is the new Thieves Guild, here's the old Thieves Guild. There's a war going on between them, and they're in the process of consolidating, so there will be only one Thieves Guild, but you still don't have your wizard. So you get to choose which faction you want to go with, and which other faction you don't go with will have remnants that will take vengeance against your characters. So if you play it right, you choose the faction, you win the day with that faction. In exchange, you get your wizard back, so you get your paycheck from back here at block 1. But the treasure that you get from that objective has escalated and grown, so that it's a worthy reward of what's probably now like a 4th level character. So that leads you into the second tier, 5th level. Time for a new session 0. Hey, how's this game resonating with you guys? What are you guys thinking about? What's exciting to you? Where do you guys want to go for the next 5 levels? And they'll tell you what they're interested in. And you already know that you've got remnants from the Thieves Guilds that are interested in taking vengeance and maybe regaining power in the Thieves Guild that you now have contacts with. The Thieves Guild is offering you jobs. Hey, this is above board and it's in a territory we can't go to. Can you help us with this thing? We'll help you. We'll scratch your back if you scratch ours. They're offering you stuff. And then, like, whatever it is that you figured out with that wizard's thing, maybe that opens up a portal to another dimension. So now you get to start, doing Stargate and exploring different worlds, like Planescape comes out or whatever, and you start, exploring worlds. Or, Spelljammer's ship, let's take off, eh? So whatever feels right for you to do. Now you're choosing a path, and whichever one isn't chosen escalates into a bigger issue. That's how you braid these different plot lines together. Whatever the heroes can't hold gets worse, so that it doesn't just hang static. They achieve their goals. You weren't there to stop them, so their plan goes through. So you just want to have a 4-part plan that goes from not a big issue at the first level, but by the time it's 17th level, like, no one is stopping us. What's the limits on our insanity? And the answer is none. So they just keep escalating. At first, they just, maybe they wanted to bring their dead kid back. And it's gotten to the point where, like, I'm going to just conquer death altogether. And let's just rearrange the multiverse while we're at it. And it's like, things are getting a little messy around here, buddy. We need to stop you. It's like, but I'm all powerful. It's like, well, that makes you a BVEG. Let's fight. And then, you cap your campaign. You get your wishes. So that's how... I don't remember why we were talking about that. So we're high levels. So I was talking about high level stuff, and then I went on all this tirade. So great. So what we're trying to do is, so you have these convoys of trucks, right? They can do, like, instead of doing 2d8 with a harpoon flinger, which has coincidentally 150-foot range, that's a lot of squares at the 5-foot scale. But when you scale out, so that you've got a bunch of trucks sitting here in a 50-foot square, right? That 50-foot square is a 50-foot square. So this is a 500 by 500-foot square, right? So that means that you have this convoy of trucks that are running around, and at the 500 at the 50-foot scale, each one of these squares is 50 feet. So as you go marching across a 500-foot scale, this is 50, 100, 150. Trucks go 100 feet per turn, unless per action, unless you have something that goes super fast, in which case it's 150, or super slow, in which case it's 50. So normally it's like bonus. Your object interaction is 2 moves, that's 100 feet, and then you get your bonus action to dash, another 100 feet, and then if you wanted to use your action to dash again, balls to the walls, then that's 6 squares that you moved in one round, and that's all your pilot can do. Whether it's you commanding your pilot to do it, or it's you actually driving the truck, the action economy is the same. Bonus action, or if you're commanding somebody, it's a verbal action. And then you get your bonus action to command them some more, and then you got your full action, your standard action, to command them even further. Just like we were talking about with the Spelljammer mechanics. But this is at a 50-foot scale, and we know, like, a Spelljammer ship, like a Hammerhead ship, fills a 5x5 space. So you can actually put a shitload of these little trucks on, a Hammerhead is actually, it doesn't, the space that it fills is a 250 by 250 foot space, but the Hammerhead itself is 250 by 30, so it actually fits in a space like this. But you could still hang a bunch of these trucks off like on the bottom of a Hammerhead ship. So you could have a 50-foot square, 50-foot square, 50-foot square, 50-foot square. Like you could have a 50-foot square here and a 50-foot square here. And that's 4 of these gargantuan-size demon grinders. So what we did in our last play test at 12th level was we raided and then took control of a hell wasp nest, which are large-sized insects. So these insects fill they're horse-sized, right? So how many of these horses do you need to pick up and carry off a gargantuan-sized infernal war machine? The answer is 2. So you just splice. You have Mad Maxine, Dr. Zhivago, whatever his name is, splice them to your machinery, and now they can fly. So they're buzzing around like little, like dragonflies, right? They're flitting around. And they're like firing harpoon guns and stuff, but there you go. You could put a trebuchet like on the back of one of these things, but like a trebuchet it's like a 3x3 space. It eats up a lot of space on your truck, but you can do it. So you could drop one on here, and so if you're controlling a squadron or a convoy or a convoy of trucks or a squadron of fighter ships, then again these guys are going to be doing it's 2d8 normally doing that flinging damage. It'll be 2d8 times 10 damage at this 50-foot scale with this squad of infernal fighter machines, right? So that's a 50-foot square. You can fit a slew of these like on the back of like a Star Moth or a Hammerhead ship, or you can have a ton of different infernal machine designs depending on what kind of Spelljammer ship it is. And in Descent into Avernus, that ship is Zariel's Blade, which is shaped like this. It's a 200-foot long, 100-foot wide, 200-foot wide, 100-foot long, 400-foot tall giant blade. It's basically got a massive, it's got a massive bludgeoning weapon. It's basically like this, and then you have the rest of Zariel's ship on top of it, like this, and it goes, it flies, right? And it hovers along, and if this is the ground, and you've got like, here's a bunch of Golgarus and like Meriliths and Vrock and Dretch, Zariel comes through with her flying blade and just goes and basically just crushes everything that goes through there at the 500-foot scale like this. This is going to be a there we go. This would be she's a 5th rank, so she's going to be doing d12s. It's a melee weapon, so it does 2d12. And it's at the 500-foot scale. It could a weapon of that size could be doing times 100 damage. So when Zariel comes cleaving through a 500-foot block of Blood War demons, she's basically doing just searing amounts of damage. You've got 5-foot scale is 10 points. At the 50-foot scale, you've got 100 points per square. And then at the 500-foot scale, you've got 1,000 hit points. So her dealing, at this scale, it would be 2d10. Get out of there, scallywag. There. It's 2d10 times 10 as a melee weapon, and as a 25th level angel, she can do it 4 times per round. Basically, she can just stir this thing around. And at the end of the round, she does effectively, effectively 8d12 times 10 damage, or you could just call it d10 times 100 damage that she does per round when she just grinds demon with her giant flying blade. So what does the team need to do? The team needs to be able to build enough forces to be able to take on a flying blade like this. But each one of these convoys is only this big in comparison to her flying blade. So as a squad, they can do 2d8 times 10 damage per attack here. Oh yeah, that is 2d8 times 2d12 times 100. Jesus Christ, that's huge. Yeah, you don't want to get hit by that thing. It will end your day. So so you've got this little 50-foot square force here that you're trying to build enough power to be able to resist the might of this Spelljammer blade, right? So that means that you need to have, if this is a 2x4, a 2x4 Spelljammer ship, is a 200-foot long. It fits inside of this 500-foot space. It's effectively a 4x4, and if we're dealing with Spelljammer, it's air envelope. We're talking about hell space, that is. It would be a 4x4 space, and its air envelope fills the 500-foot square. So we're just using Spelljammer physics there, but we're actually in Avernus, where they call it air, but we can make it poisoned air if we wanted, so that everything you do is at disadvantage unless you're a demon. But boy, that's a real grumpy way to play. So that's I mean you're perfectly within your rights to have the entire world poisoned. And since it's poison, demons and devils are immune to it. What do they care? But all of us mortals, well, we're sucking. I mean, literally, we're sucking poison. So disadvantage all around, which is just nasty. I would say a protection from evil aura would be able to block that effect. Or I think there's a number of reasons why they offer up an Avernus. But so what we're trying to do today in the actual playtest content is Elturel got pulled into Hell as part of the descent into Avernus. It is conveniently a 1 mile city. It is 1 mile east-west going along whatever that river is. Yeah, I don't know what the name of that river is. But at the 500-foot scale, which we were looking at over here, here's your 500-foot scale that the Avernus ship, Zariel's ship sits inside of. At the 500-foot scale, that puts that ship about here. Let me get rid of this. Hold on. There. Right. At the 500-foot scale, that makes Zariel's ship about that big. So I am having issues. There. There we go. So Zariel comes rolling into the city and can deal each. Well, let's talk about that. So according to D&D, a 5-foot square of stone has 30 hit points with a damage threshold of 20. Damage thresholds don't increase with size. Rock is rock. So at the 50-foot scale, 5 foot. At the 50-foot scale, a 50-foot by 50-foot block has 300 hit points. At the 500-foot scale, a 500-foot by 500-foot block of stone has 3,000 hit points. And then at the 1 mile scale, it's got 30k. At the because 10 times 500 is 5,000, which is close enough to 5270. So we just round up to the mile, just like we round off a round to be 6 seconds, even though I can stab you 20 times with a shiv if I catch you in the bathroom one more time. So 50-foot scale, 5-foot scale, 500-foot scale, 3,000 points of damage. Here we go. Zariel, we know, can do 2d12 times 100 damage in her giant flying cleaver. And so she has the potential of doing 24 times 100 equals 2,400. She could theoretically use her weapon, go through this 500-foot square here, and literally cut Elturel in half. And it would take her 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 rounds to do it, but she could do it with that weapon that she's carrying. So the adventure is all about Elturel actually being torn in half. So I'm going to represent that by tearing Elturel in half. Like that. And what's my opacity over here? 75? Great. Alright, so this is how the city's split. And it causes earthquakes and stuff because it settles. These are our defense points. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 pylons here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 pylons here that are suspending this above the river Styx, which is about, this is a 1 mile scale, it's about a half mile wide. So there you go. And so while Elturel sits on top of the river Styx like this, demons are trying to climb up these chains to get into Elturel, but the devils... Oh, I just locked up. Let's reboot. And is this all visible? It sure is. Okay, great. So I need to do is fire up. Let's get Photoshop back up and running. Yeah, damn thing crashed. Photoshop's been crashing on me a lot lately. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down Elturel into a 10x10 grid map, and then the team can play Fortress Defender with squads of 50-foot trucks. So we have the map broken down into a 10x10. We have the map broken down into a 10x10 square here, right? This is a mile, and we know that Elturel is a mile. So we're going to stretch out the map a bit more to get it to fill. Actually, we'll leave it a mile, a bit short of a mile, like that. I like how that's sitting. Ugh. I fused that. Damn it, Photoshop. Elturel, thank you. I want to grab that again. All here, close out of that. There. Go for transform. Drop that in. Those, come back to here. See, I could, what I could do, it would be massive. It would be a 100 by 100 square or 100 inch by 100 inch map that you can drop into a virtual tabletop. But that's too big for the kitchen table. So that's not a viable size. What we have to do is build the thing to the audience that we want to see. I mean, I only play on VTT because my lunchtime crew are all remote workers from home. So we always do all our game over Zoom and Roll20 like this. So I have to build the game to work inside the medium that my audience is going to be participating in. And it's great if you're going to have a VTT, but you shouldn't have to require it. So that means that we need to have 10 inch by 10 inch space maps that we can then parse this thing out into. So that is what we're going to do for now. We are going to fade this map a bit more, and then we're going to go here. And we're going to go, we're gonna build the map. So let's do like this. We're gonna put one pylon here. We're gonna put one pylon here. We're gonna put another pylon here. And then we'll put a pylon here. And then it'll connect here, 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 and here. And then we'll do that on the other side. You got one pylon here, which connects to here. We've got one pylon here, which connects here. We've got a, we've got a pylon here that connects here. And we got a pylon here that connects here. That jives. And then we've got the river Styx, which we'll do like this. So space that Elturel occupies. It's like this. Yeah, we'll let that go. Let's see. You got a scale for me here, Captain? Any scale? Any scale on this professional WotC map? Nope, you don't care. You do not care. You haven't even conceived of this idea, so why would you want to put a scale on this map? We know it's a mile, So I'm content with it being like this. Where is the, and actually I'm also good with the front end of this by the time the characters get to it, having dropped into sticks. And on top of that, I am, let's see, the tear is here. So let's do that. Like that. Let's grab, oh, I don't know, purple. And then we can move the whole thing. Or, and that means I love you. Bam, there you go. The whole thing fits inside of a 1 mile area. So let's get rid of that excess. Let's see, and then we can drop in. Yes. Where dude? That's what I wanted. Here be river sticks. I don't know if purple's the right color for that, but it's like a bluish purple. We'll call it good enough. And then, let's see. We got here, here, here. Yeah, fine, we'll leave it. Here. 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 So, since this is only occupying a 10 by 10 space, what we can do is we can move it to here. And then we can have hotspots. So let's start building some hotspots. I'm going to increase the opacity there. So what will end up happening here is bloop, and then bloop. So High Hall is the hub of where the characters exist. It has full visibility over the entire region, and if we are using magics such as the zip click, I don't know what the official signal language is. I just call it signals. It's like Morse code that you either tap out a pattern or you can flash a minor illusion light or a light cantrip, or have light on a stone and cover, and Morse code. There's a standardized signal language like common that if you're a spacer or you're a nautical, you know, like a sailor, you know this, and it came from the astrals. So it got spread to all these planets, Spelljammers first into watercraft, and it's just got this ancient heritage like Egypt and stuff. You know, like it's in hieroglyphics everywhere. It's a universal. You can just tap stone into it. It's everywhere. So it's just a universal code language that once you crack it, you can speak with almost anything that's aware of it. So it's a common language. It's a non-verbal common language, and so it's you can use that to, from the tower here, connect with any point inside of the structure. So you can then choose what is in each structure. So we want to make sure that this is lined up properly like that. Then we can just build the map a little bit better. That's good. Oh, I guess I can just be. I don't have to be so literal. I can use the map, right? There we go. This is like, yeah, like that. Do. Here. Hey Tyler, good to see you, man. You on board with us this weekend? Let's see. Okay, so now we gotta start breaking down what we're looking at. Yeah, I don't want to do that. No kidding. Well, welcome to the mix, Sister Soldier. Oh, really? Thank you. That's a big compliment. I know I've got a pretty unique perspective about looking at the game, but I started with the red box back basic back in 87. So I grew up on you get soldiers at like level 6, like the Sohei in the Oriental Adventures. You got like 40-10 warrior priests as just first rank goons for you to just mob anything you want. This is level 6, and they can be replenished every month, so you can just throw mooks at shit. And that's how the game used to be assumed you'd play it. And it got so into individual character heroics that they stripped out all of that tactical big gaming, and so they didn't have any place for kingdom building anymore, or like hex crawls are fueled by gaining territory. Like, why do you want to check out that hex over there? It's because I want to occupy it. And I've got 500 troops that are going to back me up if I can figure out the highest CR that's in the area and appropriately qualm it so that I can heal this area and make it mine. And then, of course, power vacuum, new threats start to come at me. Now you're just dealing with, you know, anyway, that's how old school D&D thought. That was what you were supposed to do with the game. You become powerful by crawling around in dungeons, acquiring all this bizarro magic, and then you break out of the dungeon and just start taking over the world with your mad power. So, and that's just, it's missing in D&D. But what sucks even worse is that all the people that keep coming up with solutions for it don't seem to give a shit about D&D. Like, they don't build 5e systems. They just didn't. So it's like, why do you let this game inspire you, but you don't build with its tools? If it's hard, then try harder. That's what we get paid for. That's why you buy my shit. So it's because I don't know. It's just I'm thankful that this opportunity exists for me to be the guy that puts this stuff out there. Honestly, I feel inspired and loved for the opportunity to be the guy that talks about this stuff. But it shouldn't be me. It should have already been on the table when they thought that Dragonlance board game was a thing. They should have said, hold on a second, why don't we just instead hire another 3 or 4 tactical board game developers and see if they can build 5e into a mass combat system. They didn't want to hire me. I was rejected. That's okay. I live here, so it'd be great if they would just hire me. I'm an easy move. But honestly, I don't know if I'd want to be stifled. I have no idea what their agenda is. I have no idea where things are going, and I am just super hard crunchy tech, and they are not into that. So I don't blame them for not returning my call. I also badmouth them on these streams all the time about what the hell are you guys thinking? So I'm pretty sassy. I probably haven't actually earned their love. Like, not at all. I need to corrode this, because that is... There, we can do it like that. It's like, how many of these like zoom in maps do I want to do? If this is going to be a product, like if I'm going to convert Descent into Avernus into a Spelljammer campaign and using our mass combat system, it's going to have to be. My OBS is still just messed up. That's gonna be a robust product. Like that is going to be a big chunk of change, because it's basically, again, the biggest problem with this system is teaching people how to play first edition. So it's like, I don't know if there's an audience that's really interested in that or not. It's kind of, honestly, it's kind of a gamble. So obviously I'm hoping for the best, but it's, I don't know. I can't go on a one-on-one crusade and, like, you know, pick up a new squad of players every year and teach them the gospel of mass combat. It's like, that's just too slow. But it's like, that's the real challenge, is like, is the mechanical description, like just describing the mechanics of what can be done with your action economy using vehicles and troops isn't enough for a DM to say, oh, that's cool, and then just like start building freaking killer stuff. And like, I built the thing, so I understand how it works. You know, I've got that insider edge. So this isn't I need to stop doing that. Is that appropriate? Oh, how did I? Oh, that's right. I was burying this stuff in the sea. That's what I was doing. So we'll just go like that, and we'll just let it be. Everyone else is drowned on that side. like it's starting to tilt like this, and you got the river Styx here, and the river Styx, you know, goes like, you know, a mile down or whatever. So this thing will eventually completely just sink to the bottom and bubble out new souls for Zariel's ship to come by and go nom 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 nom, and then go on and destroy more demons, right? That's the plan. So that's why she wants to cut this thing in half, to dump everybody into. That's your end game. It's like, why does any of this make sense? Who cares about Zariel's super blade? It's like that super blade literally does nothing in the adventure. It literally does nothing. It's like, Spelljammer's a thing. Here's like an idea about it, but you don't get to play with it. That's like locked content for now. So that's like super lame. But now that we have the tools and we know how they work, your 15th level adventure is to prevent Zariel from carving up pieces of this. Because again, she can deal stupid amounts of damage with her blade. So she can just carve off chunks of this thing, and she'll eventually destroy enough of it that it just folds in and just dunks into the ocean, into the river Styx, and then she just sucks up all the souls in Death Ray. So it just destroys everything and ends the blood war for now, and she goes back and smokes a joint. But so that'll be your 15th level challenge, to prevent her from doing this. Which is an alternate option to, like, say, freeing the archangel that's trapped inside the ball of death. So, you know, who would love and get along? Only Draven here on YouTube. He is only Draven. Oh, that's awesome. Right on, man. Thanks for the scoop. But yeah, that's what we're trying to build. So right now we're at 12th level. We are. It's 8:30 already. I've wasted a lot of time. I'm going to have to be real ad hoc with you guys, but I think you get the sense I'm pretty ad hoc with you in general anyway. So I don't think I'm spoiling any trade secrets there, that I am a ramshackle improv DM. Like, I build the tools. Like, I am such a minimalist. I do as little as I have to do to get the job done. And I think at some level it kind of fatigues the quality of what I build. So that's why I'm excited about getting into adventure design stuff, because I can, you know, start improving that quality. I feel like these things should be bumped into each other, because that gap doesn't make sense. There shouldn't be a gap. So, oh, I see what's going on. Okay, I did this the wrong way. So this should be solid here. There, that's how it should be. Like that. My bad. Brr. My worst. Here. That makes sense now. Thank you. I am real excited about Ukulele churning around the Spelljammer Combat Exploration document that we've been building here on stream the past month, and I know there's going to be pushback, and he's like, I think we need more content on this, and this, and like it should be structured differently, so these things should be down there, but just, I mean, however long it takes, it's no one else is thinking like this. There's been like 20 Spelljammer documents, and they're all like, here's something you can do as a chef. I'm like, are you kidding me? Not to diss these guys, because I've been thinking about this stuff for literally a year. So I'm not trying to be snarky at anybody on anything. That is content that people want to consume. I just know that I'm like coming from like a completely different direction on this. Like, I get concerned. It's like, God, do I need to be in a hurry about this stuff? Is it going to get stolen out from underneath me? No, Phil. No, there's no way in hell someone's just going to randomly stumble into this just like you have. After years of this game being out there, there's no risk of someone having anything, doing this scaling, having this breakdown in the system, having all this stuff just fit perfectly inside of 5e, and literally be able to scale from 5 foot to 500 miles with zero difficulty. It's not mine. It just got handed to me. I'm the guy that just gets to write about it. That's seriously how I feel. Like I am not the pilot of this ship, and it is super freaking cool. So I am going to. I've got heavy rant on today. My apologies. I'm in that mode. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab this. Do that. Oh man, I got some freaking music kicking in the background, man. I don't know if you catching that smooth jazz. That jazz is smooth. Oh man. You know who we watch it together. She loves life. Jeez. You guys are great. I really appreciate you folks showing up, and it's fun. It's just I just want to build shit that makes sense to people. That's all. So we're gonna do that. Fuse those together, and we can. Okay, so let's see. We've got. Do that. One there. This is your home base. This is your square. This is your last stand. This is your territory. This is the citadel. Let's see. Then we got. That. And so let's so like you got your squad. We'll just make you guys a smiley face kobold. There you go. And so kobolds, you guys are here, right? And you'll have squads, and so each you'll have convoys or squadrons because these things can fly. So you'll each have your own squadron. So we'll have there and there and here and here. Merge all that down, merge those layers. You guys can roll your quote unquote your quote unquote characters out from your squadron. And each one of these chains has demons that are coming aboard, and at the same time, in this there's devils here, and there's demons here, and the point of conflict is the chain. And so the problem that we have. And I'm just going to do this for a moment, VV, because I mean it's kind of obvious. But this square is occupied by demons. This square is occupied by devils. Devils and demons, devils and demons. I just want to script this out. Devils and demons. So we need a hardline defense here to defend the citadel from these devils that are dangerously close to your point. For whatever reason, this is your point. It's got the highest ground, which to me just makes it the most obvious target for Zerial to come along and just swang cleave. But they aren't thinking like us, so they wouldn't do that. Anyway, so you're going to need to have squadrons or troops that you've accumulated defending the citadel against here, here, and here. And then you will also be able to independently control squadrons of the flying infernal war machines as 4 separate characters. And you can use, since you aren't actually in the squad, you can use verbal commands to have each of these guys move, and then you've got your action economy and then your bonus action economy. And as you're doing this, you got demons and devils that are fighting ranks here, but you also have breakaway squads of devils that are roaming the city and trying to take shit over. So for you to be able to if you don't secure the city, when Zariel shows up to destroy the ground that is built, that is keeping the souls from being dunked into the river, you have to have all the terrain cleared out. Otherwise, you're fighting the demons that are already there, and now Zariel shows up with all her troops on top of it. So, gah! You have to clear all that crap out so you have an empty arena for you to fight the big bad evil guy and their own spawn without having the board already flooded with mooks that are going to tear you apart. So from level 12, presumably to level 15, a DM could, if they wanted to, build out a faction and a conflict for each one of these chains, where the devils and the demons have unique personalities and tactics that they're using against each other that is slowly destroying the chain that is keeping the whole thing afloat. So if the chain breaks, then the river just ends up pushing it, and it'll break and it'll slump, and then everyone gets dumped. So if these chains break, the city is lost and no one gets anything except for Zariel. She gets to scoop up everything. So she's fine with that as an end game. But for the demons to get a victory, they have to take the city intact with all of those soul bounties aboard. They can't fish souls out of the river Styx like Zariel can. She's got she has a thing that can do that, and the demons don't have that right now. Yet. Anyway, you lost. They're bitches. So they'll get their own, and that's how Hellscape gets built. But for now, because that'll be in Tartarus, where all those giant cubes, like those 6-sided dice of like anywhere from 100 to 10,000 miles in size. I've conveniently built some tables to randomly generate worlds using a Spelljammer document that you can convert into cubes, and then you can have Hell Space engaged inside of Tartarus. I think it's Tartarus. No, it's Carcery. Thank you. In Carcery, where all these giant 6-sided dice just keep colliding against each other, and if your army's on the wrong face, like if it comes up a 1 on a d6, blomp, your whole army is crushed and it's gone. It got smacked by another planet, and you're gone. So you're playing save or die with armies, and so you've got these Spelljammer ships that can fly between the dice. And so when you're playing the game, you can just throw a stack of 6-sided dice onto a grid, and each one is anywhere from a 500 foot to like say 10 miles, depending on what scale you want to use on your map. You just throw a bunch of dice, and that's Tartarus. I've got like little itty bitty dice from like travel backgammon boards, and I've got really big Vegas dice, and and I've got all the dice in between. So I've got like I think 4 different size dice. So like if I'm in meat space, I can just throw a bunch of 6-siders, and then whenever like I roll a recharge die, and whenever the recharge occurs, you grab all the dice and you toss them back down on the board and scuttle the battlefield. And if your ship gets hit by a cube, then you have to make a pilot check saving throw to prevent crashing into the planet, thus potentially wrecking you on that cube. And now it scales down to that 50-foot scale where your ship is stranded, and now you have to hex crawl to another army location where you can jump on another ship and take off and get back into the battle. So I love this stuff so much. It's so cool. It is so cool. This is like the fourth Hexcrawl campaign idea I've come up with since creating this command system. It is so sick. It's just so sick. So I'm sorry, I'm super geeking out. But so the plan here is that so you can have each one of these different chains be a different point of battle, and the fight on the chain itself. Now we can zoom into another map here, where we've got, here's your line of scrimmage. Here is the border of the town, the edge of the like, we zoom in here, like here becomes here. Okay, so now we're looking at the 500-foot scale, and you've got a chain that is, this is at the 500-foot scale, which is 500 scale here, right? So now we're looking at a 500-foot scale, and the chain that connects these two things, like 50 feet, that's too thin. That is just way, way too thin. So this chain is going to go from there, and then it's going to connect with its pylon here. How big of a thing do we want? What feels good? Well, let's make it a circle. That'll bigger. Nah, smaller than that. Maybe like that. Is that too big? Let's go to, yeah, large size feels right. And then we've got large size here. Actually, I'm going to do that different. Large size here. And then here connects the chains. So this is the 500-foot scale, and here's the chains that connect, and then you have the devil forces here, and you've got the demon forces here, and the demons want onto the city, and the devils could care less. All in all, if the city ends up, I mean, I guess they would break it themselves. I don't know. They don't have orders to do that, so they don't do that. So the demons are, I guess, are just considering themselves lucky. So they can come up the chain to fight the devils, and if they can get past the devils, they can get onto the board. So now we've got, here's a 500, this is a 50-foot space here, right? So this is the size of one of your squadrons, or one of your convoys, right? At the 50-foot scale here, this is a 50-foot scale that they took over, which means that this chain is occupying a space like this, right? So this is 50 foot, 100. So this is 50 feet. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. 50 foot, 50 foot. This is the size of the chain that is pinning the Avernus or Elturel in place. And your character is this big. Like, your literal character is this big. So you could instead have an Infernal War Machine. Reduce that down. Like, if you got a demon grinder here, you could drive it literally down the chain to then get out of the chain here to then just get the hell out of here altogether. Like, screw all this. I'm going to go build an army and, you know, fight Zerial myself. That's where your characters start. That's like what the ideal starting point is that you get on a truck, drive down the chain as 6th, maybe 7th level characters. You arrive in Avernus at 5th level. You go from Elturel. Your insert point is here at 6th level, and then you travel to here to get to the Citadel. When you get to the Citadel, you are assigned the task of save us. So you're like, okay, cool. So you then exit here, you go out to a point here, you pick up an Infernal War Machine by gathering up a posse of From Elturel, you go and you pick your point, whichever point you want, and there'll be intel about what the circumstances are at each chain. And so while you're doing that, you're accumulating soldiers to create a 500-foot by 500-foot army to be able to fight your way through the devils that are defending this point. And then you can let the demons actually come up the chain and start hitting the city. And while they're doing that, you can make your way down the chain, pick up a truck along the way, and then gun the hell out of there, and then start doing your Avernus adventure in a truck that is already proven to be a reliable vehicle for you, and you're already building your squad. So you got a truckload full of mooks that are willing to come along, like paladins or whatever. It's like, yeah, we're on board this quest. Let's do this crazy crap. And then the shenanigans just start, and you just go through all that crap. So that's the idea. Then we do all the playtesting stuff that we did, like get the Hornet's Nest. We haven't done, but we could do attack the Wandering Market to take control of that resource, so that you can teleport around to different locations to chase after Zariel instead. That's an option that you could do. Freeing the Frost Giant God, so that he provides you with giant troops. Taking over all the Infernal War Machine gains to become like Lord Humongous, ruler of the Wasteland, and now you're building your own third faction. You could pick up the Paladins that were all slaughtered, that were following Zariel. Now they got a bone to pick with this whole place. You could pick them up pretty easily to get on board your holy quest to win back the city and save Zariel from herself. There's hundreds of troops that you get from that. They're in a citadel, for God's sake. Go camp there. Get a long rest. You can go help out Bell and divert the river, which buys you a little time to keep this place from being flooded by dropping the water level because of the dam diversion that Bell has you do. If you do that, he can build you the other Spelljammer ship that Zariel wrecked down here. He scooped it up, took it back, and he's been mounting a Spelljammer helm to it so that he can be a standoff against Zariel. And if your team plays Bell correctly, he'll let you pilot it and take your whole crazy army in and wipe her shit out. You just hand him back. Oh, fine, keep it if you want. Just get out of here. Just go. He doesn't care what you do. You just can't do it here. He's taking this place back. And if you have a problem with that, he will start pulling in favors from other demon princes, and he will wump on you through level 20. But if you're cool with chilling and going off and doing Zaraxis or something else at a really high level, you can go do that instead. So whatever, the game is yours at that point. Go to Tartarus and get crushed by a cube, as far as I care. But that's how the game goes, right? You lift Elturel back out of hell by defending the city, and if you can defeat Zariel's ship, then she has to deal with you on a one-on-one level. That's when Lulu the Holophant can come on and give her a Care Bear hug, and help Zariel get a backup saving throw to overcome her curse or whatever, and then she's back on the good guy team, and then so she releases the Archangel, who does miracle stuff and pulls Elturel back into back to Toriel, just like he took it away. He brings it back in, and then the end. So that's your 15 level campaign. So that's the general strat. Each one of these chains is a defense point. So you got off a chain to get out, but when you come back, you're flying. Ideally, you're flying with Bell's ship. But if you're limited to the flying Infernal War Machines, or the Wasp, I don't have an official term for them yet, like Hell Flitter. I don't know. There are Elven Flitters in Spelljammer in 2nd edition. So Hell Flitter is kind of cool, but it's also not real demonic. So Infernal War Machines with wings just really lacks flair. So I don't know how to resolve that yet. But so here's your larger scale. Where did that go? I had a thing. Thank you. So this is your generic chain battle, where you can have troops pushing their way, along the chain, and the devils will be at some point along this way, and the demons that'll be your line of scrimmage, is somewhere along this line, and depending on what kind of effort you put into it, you can push them. You can start off at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you get to 6, then you're off the chain, and then you can just bounce. You can yeet the hell out of here. How does that work? Yeet. So you yeet out. So that's how you get out. But when you get back in, you don't have to worry about any of that monkey business because you should be flying. If you're on the ground, then you should. If you leave the CR alone, you can just raffle stomp across the whole chain. But if the DM escalates things because you can afford to escalate the challenge because of how well the team's shenanigans have been executed, then you can just keep scaling up the CR just to basically outmatch the action economy that the team has. Basically, the rules in Command is if you're dealing out as much damage as the team can deal out, as long as you can do more action economy around than the team can do, you're doing pretty good. It'll be a fun fight. The team will end up winning. Maybe somebody will get close to dead. They might have to chew through a lot of spells. But in the end, they're going to end up winning. And that's pretty cool because it's really just a matter of how many of your resources do I have to burn through today to make it feel like, like a dog wrestling with a rag in its mouth. How much of a rustle are you giving your team to get them how do you get them to roll their eyes back in their head and just tear at the shit that's in your game. That's where you want to get with your team. And when you get to that point, it's like they're just burning resources because they want to win. And that's when they're really winning because they just got that I want this. And it's like once they have that grip in their eyes, it's like as a DM all you gotta do is just make it a little different. Like I spent an hour and 20 minutes on my session this week with the team trying to convince a sage to get branded with a ritual tattoo that would make her get caught inside of a Groundhog's Day with them. Because they wanted the sage to be able to spend time to be able to research the stuff that she needed to do to be able to actually help them at this level of play. She's like, this shit could take months. How are we supposed to, they're like, we're going to bind you into the loop. She's like, but my kid has a birthday party tomorrow. How long is this going to take? And they're like, we've literally been doing this for 4 years. Because that's how long the game has been playing at our lunch table in the lunchtime adventure team. So they've literally ground through this for 4 years. So in game, it's been 4 years that they've been trapped inside the loop. Like at any given moment, you can be like, I want to just burn 30 days to learn all I want about this town, or I really want to just loop the same conversation with this guy over and over again and just really worm into his life so I can gain advantage on things that I do involving him or the things that he knows about. Like you can just sit there and burn days because they don't know you're doing it. You're just, you're just time looping on them and they don't know the better of it. They're like, Sage, I tell you, we could get you into this time loop. You'll literally have forever to research anything that you want. She's like, but it's my kid's birthday tomorrow. And they're like, fuck. So it took them an hour to convince her to do this, that she really needed to do this. And she finally goes, okay. It was like collective, yes. It was awesome. It was awesome. So it was so fun. That's what the fucking game is for. That is just, it's like the smallest theater possible. It is the most intimate, deep meta relationship at a table that is ground from level 1 to 20 over just hundreds of hours and like stretching it out this far in this hour and a half chunks of time each week. It's like I require so little bandwidth for me to just distract them with challenges while I have no idea what to do next. But it doesn't matter because they're just defeating challenges and gaining access to more utility, more rituals, more spells, more knowledge about the environment for them to figure things out to how to win the day and get out of the time loop at the same time. It's amazingly satisfying. So all we really need for this Avernus map, right? We've got the chain map at 5-foot scale in case your team wants to get that dirty and personal about it. Assumedly, the team will be operating at the 50-foot scale with one or more trucks that, again, they move 150 feet per round. So you're automatically operating at some level at the 50-foot scale here. You're always moving at that scale, which is great because it's an easy scale to work in. When you're moving here from block to block, that's the wrong. Is that the right? Wrong. Which? Where? Merge down. Danke. At this scale, it's you can move every 10 minutes. Every minute. So you've got 6 seconds in a round at the 50-foot scale. So you've got 1 minute per square at the 500-foot scale. Your truck can move at a speed of 2. So in a minute, by default, you can go from here to 1, 2 squares, and then if that's all the action economy that you're using, you can go again to 1, 2. You can get to the front line in literally one round, or in a 1 minute round from your base to the front line for you to battle. Each square that you move through is a random opportunity for you to engage a random devil. A rogue troop of devils, and you're at the 500-foot scale here. So then you zoom in to this 50-foot scale, or rather the 500-foot scale there becomes 500 feet here at the 50-foot scale. So now we have, if this is like a random city block, you got like a building here and a building here and a building here and a building here. A building here and here and here, and like this is your street that sits inside of this block. Like this might be here. It's this one. So yeah, let's grab that real quick. This is where your random encounter occurs. So here's your random encounter. So we just blow that out to a 50-foot scale. It's not quite 50 feet. For this to be a product, for me to sell this as a thing, I think I tilted my camera somehow. I must have been ranting and caused my camera to move. Sorry. For me to make this a product that I can sell a thing, I have to thus present each one of these squares as a space to have an encounter inside of. I want to go to this specific space, this one right here. Oh, that's High Hall. I think I'm on the wrong square. What was this? Oh, that's just an open market. My bad. Here. This is where we're supposed to start. Thank you. Which means all our dredge. Here, grab our dredge. They all stay there. These guys all move. So we move all these guys. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, fun. And there's, that's so great. Okay, so there's this rift, right? This is perfect. I don't know anything about you, dude. All right, whatever. Let me grab that. Peel that off. Go here, and pretty haphazard. I don't know how much of this I'm going to actually have prepped for us by Saturday morning. So wish me luck. I love streaming, but it is not efficient production. It's fun as fuck, and I love talking about my stuff, but it is not like let's listen to Led Zeppelin and just grind out map for 4 hours. It becomes, I've noticed with Terran's stream, the more Terran builds an audience as he streams, the less efficient those streams become, but they're fun. So I have to balance my social media time. I'm hoping I can convert social media time into stream time if I continue to build enough of an audience to have conversations with. That way I can transition out of Discord time into stream time and then turn more of my inefficiencies into more efficient production. So, but while I'm building all my books on stream, it doesn't really matter. It's just, I guess it's technically marketing. So here I am, marking markets with market. What words were I attempting? Where were we? Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about this. All right. All right. So there's this break here, and so if we're looking at this from the side, we're gonna be like this, and then like this. Actually, I should do it like that. I love this music. I really like Epidemic. I'm happy with it. This song has literally been on my Epidemic track for a year, and I love this song as much as I love anything by Rush. It's a great freaking song. It's just like, they're like 3.5, they're like stripper songs. They're like 3 minutes at most. Like a lot of them are like 1.5 minutes. So it's like, geez, McCrow, they're short little clicks, but like Led Zeppelin's Immigrant song is it's like 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and like Stone Temple Pilots' Vaseline is like 4 minutes and 6 seconds. There's like a lot of songs. Those are the two that come to mind quickest, but there's a number of songs that are like super short, but they're just raw adrenaline. It's like 3 minutes of just pure bam. So what we're building here is this is where we are at currently with the pylons that are here. Over here, the devils have high ground, and you're located here. One. We are one. One Herbert. Hopefully this is all making sense. I know these things. I know I do these things for hours, and that is like the most unfriendly format to consume unless you really like listening to me rant. But yeah, this is your citadel. This is where you're at. Here's your side comparison view. If Zero can come through and like cleave through that and then cleave through that, like this whole middle bit will just drop. And like your citadel is gone. So like her goal is going to be to cleave out these two chunks. And it's going to take 30,000 hit points to do it. What was the scale that we were looking at? Hold on, where did that go? I had words. We had words, my friend. There we go. Thank you. 30,000 at the 1 mile scale. This is okay. So each one of these squares has 3,000 hit points. So she has to deal 3,000 points of damage here, and then she has to cleave through these two here. So she has to hit this one, and then this one, and then that breaks off that square. So this square is gone. So she has to do 1, 2, 3, 4. She had 1, 2, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or actually, this would probably be better here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 5 times 2. That's 10 squares that she needs to destroy. That's 30,000 hit. How about that? That's 30,000 hit points of damage that she has to do with her blade over time as you're trying to fight her. So the threat is, if you can't defeat her efficiently, she can cleave through here, and if she can succeed at 10 rounds, at all 10 blocks, it's going to break. Or every time she breaks off one of the chunks, there's there's like a 2 on a 10, a 2 on a d20 chance that the whole structure will just cave in because she took out that one block. So every block that she knocks out, the DM rolls a 20-sided die, and if it rolls a number that is twice, like at 10, she'll have knocked, like if she knocks out 5, it's a 50-50 chance. And then from there on forward, it becomes more and more likely that, like, by the time she gets by the time she gets to here, like there's like a 16 out of 20, like 1 to 16 equals death. So like you have to stop her like up here. Like you got to stop her here. Otherwise it gets real freaking hairy. But you have to explain all this crap. It's like you have to understand what your objective is. Like that makes it very gamey. It makes it a very game experience, you know? It's like, hey, here's the micro game. Like this is about building mini games, like tactical mini games using 5e combat rules with like ticking clocks or environmental hazards or random things or coordinated enemies to do interesting 5e combat, but just at a ridiculously large scale. So like I don't really see a reason why characters would like want to get off their truck and run into a building to I don't know, maybe it's like, oh my god, I am dying for some shawarma, and I swear I smell shawarma. It's like, yeah, there's a shawarma shop over there. It's like, well, shit, let's go. So you Mad Max your way over to the shawarma shop, and you grab yourself a bunch of kebabs, and then you scoop up and you take your short rest, and you scoop out of there, and you go attack another square. So the plan is that each time moving in each square, it's a 1 minute round. So in a 1 minute, here's how that works. In a time dilated round, where the amount of movement that you have to cover to your speed limit only lets you go so far. Like a character can't move 300 feet in one round under normal circumstances. It would be 10 rounds of them moving 30 feet. So you don't have to do anything weird. All you got to do is just upscale the round so that it's a minute long. So you're going to cover 300 feet and attack your enemies when you get there. So the way that you deal with time dilation is very easy. The damage stays at the scale of that you're operating in, but you do actions after movement. You have to move first, and then when you get to the enemy, you can attack them. So if your enemy decides to move away from you and like get 600 feet distance from you because you're operating in a 1 minute scale because you're covering hundreds of like 500-foot blocks each round, you catch up to them, you skirmish with them, they break away and keep moving. And if they use disengage as an action, they're able to withdraw like you would expect them and then be able to hoof out of there. A minute later, you catch up with them again at a brook or something. They get caught up. That's how D&D works. But anyway, you catch them and whatever square they're in becomes your next battlefield, and you can continue to skirmish like that. At the 50-foot scale, you're just going to be doing sword damage times 10, d8 times 10 damage. You've got your 1 minute round. In that 1 minute, you can move this much distance. If you're provoking attacks of opportunity, they're happening during the round of combat, and you can normally just resolve it at the 50-foot scale. You don't need to zoom in, because Theater of the Mind lets you just make the whole thing disappear altogether. But we're now building a grid framework for you to lock that Theater of the Mind onto while being able to actually use different types of figurines on your battlefield. So it's just like normal D&D. You put your character into the position that you want them to be in using the action economy that's available to you, and then you execute the rest of the action economy that you have to perform the actions that you want, and then you visualize it to be whatever you want. This works the exact same way. So it's just scaling things up in tens. If you're Infernal, like if you're not on foot, you don't have to go with 50-foot squares per minute because you're not on foot. You're moving in an Infernal war machine that moves 100 feet per action, and you get up to 3 actions per round, so you can move up to 6 squares in Infernal war machines in a minute. So I'm sorry, in a round, but these are 500-foot squares. So you could, in one round, you can move 300 feet in an Infernal War Machine in one round. But to move 3,000 feet, you have to operate at the 1 minute scale. So you make your movement, and then if at some point you, like as you're going through here, if you go to, where's my bed? Thanks. Like if you're moving along and this is where you go, and then you roll a random encounter, then we can, like we were doing, we can zoom in here, and this becomes your scale of battle. You've got your, oh, I understand why that's happening. Here to here to, is it gonna work? Cool. Right here. Boy, this rack over here is a mess. I have to clean that up. Yeah, so you can scale in. Here's your 50-foot scale. This building is roughly 50 feet. 50 feet. Here's like a 25-foot building. And so you can push your Infernal War Machine down the street, and you can run across a posse of devils somewhere inside this block. So if I'm going to make this a product, getting back to the point, if I'm going to make this a product, I have to take every one of these squares, zoom them. Oh shit, I just locked up. I have to restart it again. I have to zoom into that 50-foot scale and have a map at the at this scale, so that you can drop this onto a VTT. This is a tent, the city. I'm waiting for the thing to close out. So there we go. And then I'll jump back in. Oh god, this Spelljammer cover. I am so happy with the Spelljammer. Oh, that's the red one. That's not the right one. That's the red one. But man, I'm loving how that's coming along. This stuff is sick. This has been about, Jesus, it's only been, where is that one? Test red, greenest, Alteral cover. There it is. There it is. That's where we're at so far. This is like maybe 10 hours of work. It's going ridiculously fast. Like this is the fastest production I've had on a project like this, like ever. This is just ever. And that Crystals of a Bar cover, that is, I am just, oh, hold on, I'll fetch that up and then I'll get back to work. But here's this thing is coming along, man. All I gotta do is finish up this line, and then get some heroes in here being creepy, and then get a better font here, and then we'll be freaking done with this. This too has just been a ridiculous rate. It was just like a couple days, and then here it is. So I'm just, I have been, the muse that is working with me right now, she is just freaking sick. And that girl knows how to grind paints. It's like, go girl. So very thankful for that one. So that's how this thing works. I will just probably grab some randos like this. I'll grab a couple random different pieces just to have them set up. But that's all the mechanics that go behind this. We already know that a 50-foot square, a convoy of Infernal War Machines, is going to move at the rate of 1 minute rounds at the 500-foot scale, and then one 6-second rounds at the scale of 50 feet, which we have here. We've got the chain figured out, the 50-foot and 50-foot scale. Yeah. This and this are the same scale. So this is the 50-foot scales here. We got the 500-foot scale here. All you need to do is scoop this up and then drop it into Roll20. But my OBS is being a bitch, so it's not letting me flip screens with it. It's locked in to having Photoshop as my front showing screen, and the full screen is thankfully behind it. But I can't get to it unless I close Photoshop. So I ran through all this stuff to get these ideas into you guys' head. Now I need to create a stamp over here for the 50-foot scale. It's the wrong shape, Kearney. Don't mind me. I'm just losing it here for a second. Let's go to 130. Maybe that's the size. 1, 3. I suppose it's supposed to. that is horrible. All right. So we got that and that and there. Baka Baka. We do need to have some points set. Now I have the But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So we got 15 prepped. There's also the scab that we could deal with, but that's a pretty basic siege. You just got to punch through the forces. I don't know how much fun that would be in comparison to this, but it is an option. You can do that. Right. So what it will be is we'll have 4 points of 4 points of contact that we need to clear from the battlefield for us to build for us to clear the arena, as it were, to help to make sure that we can fend off Zariel without having things crawling around and trying to kill us. Once we get buffers in place, I have no idea what screen I'm supposed to be using here. Oy vey. Where's this one? I know what that is. I don't even know your name. There. Right, and get rid of that. And there it is. I want to make that more transparent. And oh, cool. Now I have now I get to, okay. I can actually just build this thing right here. So that is what I'm going to do now. Give me a second. We're going to hunt for squares. We're square hunting, folks. Yeehaw! Square hunting. We are square hunting. This is going to be fun. So okay, great. We've got a minimalist 30 by 30 grid here, right? Not very big at all. What we can do is we have this one here for us placing our soldiers at the grand scale. We've got here for the side view so that folks can see like the threat. So I'm going to just do this real quick. No. Hold on, I'm mincing. I want to do this. This feels fun. I'm gonna do this. Tangent. It's a total vanity moment here that I'm digging through. Forgive me, but I wanted to drop some terrible terror down here just to make it feel like really freaking scary. And I know it's no more scary than, whatever. It's like Freddy Krueger level scary. But yeah, so what the team is gonna do is hold on. I know how the map is supposed to be built now, but I want to walk through how I imagine the scenario playing out. So give me a moment to finish indulging myself in these darker depths, and then. There we go. Okay, so when we're looking at our grid, we got here, I can have one, two, three, four. We got 4 squares here that I can fill with one of these squares each. So I'm going to want to have a chain conflict like here. Maybe like a chain, like the chain here and then the adjacent square here. And then have 1 square here and have 1 square here and leave this space open for us to grind down to the 5-foot scale so that you guys can be skirmishing with trucks while you're moving through the 500-foot scale. So if you want to zoom down to the 5-foot scale, you'll have that dogfight engagement area where you're locking speed with like chase. You're on a chase map. Is how I should. I don't know the term. We're still building terminology. We're still figuring out how you're supposed to exactly codify and explain how this system works. That's why I'm happy to have Adam Hancock and Ukulele Bard working with me, because those guys are smart. So I'll have chain. I'll have 3 squares: chain, ground here, and then here I'll have 2 squares somewhere, like probably here and then probably here, and then I'll have these 2 open for 5-foot scale skirmishing, and that's all you need. It's just a 30-foot by 30-foot square. And this entire battle map is covered with everything that me as a DM I plan on playtesting. So you'll have these 2 squares, you'll have this 1, 2, 3, you'll have 5 squares for you guys to skirmish inside of. And we'll just, it's like, hey, I'm planning on having you guys, like, this is the square. You guys can go wherever you want. But this is the square that I have planned. If this is a full product, every one of these squares will be blown out into this larger scale map with things placed out just enough so that you can navigate your vehicles through these things. You have to like make piloting checks, like there could be wreck points. So like any time where the space narrows more than where the vehicle could go through, there's a chance of like having a wreck that would like you slam it into the side of the wall and it slows you down. So your prey is able to escape board and go back out to the 50-foot scale. So I would need to have all these squares built out, but I can build them out in these 9x9 grids. So I can build a 9x9 grid and I can just drop this one on top of it, like in a VTT setting, or I mean even at your table. Where'd who go? Hold on. I'm so in love with OBS being locked in with Roll20 because Roll20 is my choice weapon. But you can have your 9x9 grid here of whatever you want here, and then you can have this as a separate map. It's 10x20. In a player in a live table, you can build this out, and then just it's 10x20, which is a weird size. So I'd have to put it on. Oh God, that is ugly. If we're using, it could be. I mean, I don't want to have to do any custom paper. Like an 11x17, you could have. That's almost 10x20. God, it's just that hurts so much. I want to be able to lock in at that 1-inch square. So I mean, you could do a 10x11 page. Does that feel weird? You could have a 1/2-inch border. That's enough. So you could have a 10-inch grid fit in like a 10x17. It fits. I mean, it's not a 10x20, but do I really need this bottom part down here? Probably not. So what if I compromised and trimmed off like an inch here and 2 inches here, so that's 17, and then yeah, now I can still fit this. And then the 10, I don't know if 10 by 17, I don't know, man. I don't know how willing people would be to print out 11 by 17s, but I could offer each square on a separate 11 by 17 page. I mean, that's easy enough. It's not like I'm compromising anybody's principles by saying, here, you know, if you want to use the wrong size paper, you can print these out on 8.5 by 11s. It'll be an 8-inch by 8-inch grid, but there'll be 10 squares, so it'll be 0.8 inches per square. And if you're just doing cutout, if you're just doing, you know, standees or like pips or whatever for all your troops, it really doesn't matter. But it would be cool to be able to have a larger scale. But this is really going to shine in VTT. So because this can be a separate overlay that you can just scoot around the map. Like if you're on this scale here and you know that, like when you zoom in, you know that you're inside this squat. Here, let's get these. Get these lined up in here. Come on, Burger. There we go. Thank you, Kitty Wumpus. I'm going to actually free transform equals bigger. Almost there, guys. Stand on target. Of course, that's the wrong one. I can't tell. I don't know. Come on. Thank you. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Consolidating this stuff. Man, that Greenest in Flames playtest was so fun. That was like, oh my god, this system is such a home run. That was just, what a morale booster for this whole project. Greenest in Flames is amazing. That was so freaking cool. This is L2, oh no, actually I think this is technically garbage. That's actually trash. And so is that now. Great. Okay, so like we were saying, in a VTT environment, this is a transparency that you can just drop, I mean, literally just scoot around the map. You just drop down to the map layer, you can just scoot this thing around. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this a separate little map so that we can scoot it around. Such a cool product. Now, there. This will let us know it's the right size. Now I can. There should be a map somewhere I'm concealing over here. You are, buddy. Oh, that's right. I topped it. I think all of this is garbage now too. Oh, this is all the stuff that we just did. Yeah, this is definitely garbage. Trash. My TED Talk trash. L Terrell 500 feet. Cool. Now we'll conceal the map. Actually, we'll keep the map in place for a moment. Let's go back there. Let's instead do this. Go like that. Arr, what happened? Thank you. Trying to make things make sense. There we go. There we go. Okay, gonna lock that in. So now I can. With new. Boop. Oops, I needed to have gotten rid of that grid. Derp. Get rid of the grid. Wait. That is what we needed to do. Wait. We can do this better. There. This is what we needed to do. Copy. There we go. Now we can put this back in, and we can put the. Get out of here, cattywampus. Put that back in, and then here. There. And we'll save as. Yes, we want to save the computer. Thank you. What time is it? 9:30? Oh yeah, I'm actually doing really good. This shit's actually easier than I make it out to be. Was it PNG is transparent? That is going to be L Terrell 500 foot scale. Let's go check our work. Bravo, sir. Equals no. All right, great. So we got that taken care of. Now we get to go hunting for fun locations. Let's see. Which one of these squares look cool? Okay, great. So there's no climbing at Torm's Reach. That's cool. Hold on. I gotta check my business. I know it's around here somewhere. Hold on, I gotta find that map. Where'd it go? Damn it. That's why I get to throwing everything away so quickly. Let's go dig through the trash and see if I can find the damn map. Thank you. Oh, okay, great. That is at the very edge. Ah, very good, very good, very good. Very, 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 very good. Cool, back on it. Okay, so the team can go all the way down here to Torm's Reach, to round the edge, where Torm's Reach is in the process of just being torn asunder. Yeah, just destroying that crap. I should probably not cave it in like that, but whatever, that's what we're doing. So there it is. So Torm's Reach is getting crushed. These two things together. The team could come all the way up here, hook this corner. If they go for this corner, there's a guaranteed fight. This is a fun point of contention. We're going to assume. Let's see. So you and me. Devils are supposed to be here. Devils are supposed to be here. They get pushed back to here. We got demons and demons and demons and demons. Devils, characters arrive here, better run. Boy, yeah, there's a point of access here. There's more devils here. So that means there's gonna have to be a devil facility here, like a oh, how fun is that? You guys can hurl insults at each other. That's so fun. High Hall should have. I feel like High Hall should have weapons. Yeah, I just feel like there should be doubles. There should be doubles there. This, though, this right here, this is our best option for the 3x3 space down here at the bottom. By far, best place. It's just, or rather, I'd put it at the top because, you know, at the top here. By far, best block. If there's going to be a fight anywhere, like going to here, getting into the line of scrimmage here, I think that's where we need to be. So that is what we are going to do. This is where we will play. And yes, and the pylon ends. So all you gotta do is get to the end of the board here, and then they can dismount off onto the bank of Avernus, riverbank. That's the word I couldn't think of earlier. Thank you. And then they can they can go tear up Avernus and become heroes. So, but yeah, that's where we're at 12th level. So we want to zoom in on those. I think it's great that the tear between the two halves of Elturel stop at Storm, stop at Torm's Reach. I think it just seems poetic to me. I mean, Torm's Reach it's the citadel is destroyed, but it acts as a ramp, so it covers that area. So Torm's strength is what's keeping this whole thing together. Praise Torm. That's freaking awesome. You go, buddy. Here's one for you, pal. So now what we want to do is zoom in. I'm gonna get super zoomy here for a minute. Nay, I say, nay. Let's grab that. There, that's good. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd hire somebody for this. Look at that. That's so sick. So you got your truck and you could maneuver your trucks through each square. Let's see, if you're coming in, oh God, that's so sick. So sick. So you gotta bop. You guys would be starting here. You're making your way. So this, like, you have to make your way. This is all difficult terrain because it's Rebel. So each round, 50-foot scale. You have 5, 10. Or you have rather 1, 2, 3, 4, and then no, it'd be because it's difficult terrain. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a tank, which can only move 1 square. Isn't slowed by difficult terrain. It only moves 1 square per action because of how tanky it is, but it doesn't get slowed by difficult terrain. This game writes itself. That's amazing. And then you get out, and then you get in these larger blocks here. Like this is a tight. This is squeezing. You have to squeeze through here, so you're at disadvantage on stuff. Like if I catch you here, you're between these buildings, then it's effectively squeeze space. And then I can just come in here and just, what does this look like? If I was building, it'd be 1, 2. So that would be something like this. Like here's my storefronts, right? Like I could build that in Roll20 just about as fast as I did that just here. It'll be sloppier in Roll20 because for some stupid reason it doesn't recognize my pen commands. Need to fix that. I think I have to do like a specific setting to make Roll20 recognize my pen, but it shouldn't have to do that. But that's my fault. I have to suss that out. So I'll suss that out. So yeah, here's your, I can't erase this easily, so there you go. But these Infernal War Machines, right? Like a Tormentor is a 3x3 truck, so it can navigate these spaces no problem. But a Demon Grinder, I mean, actually a Tormentor is technically it's a 2x3, while a Demon Grinder is a 3x4. So the Demon Grinder is going to have, I'll take the truck, like you can barely fit a Demon Grinder down these streets. But if we have, but like these alleyways, there's no way you can get through those alleyways. You would have to have a Devil's Ride or something fast and easy to be able to go down passages. Like they'll be, there you go. Here, like, oh, this feels like an ambush ready to happen, doesn't it? You got these gaps here. This is where the strength of Devil's Rides come in. They don't have much offensive capability overall, but they're fast and they can navigate back streets without having to worry about piloting checks wrecking your truck and getting stuck. So they're, this whole time I'm like, why the fuck do you want to ride a Devil's Ride? These little motorcycles, they have no offensive capabilities. All they can do is drive. It's like, well, yeah, they're freaking great at driving. They too don't have to worry about terrain because they're so light and mobile that they can just move through all of it. They aren't slowed down by it. A tank can just crawl over it, but motorcycles can move through it. You guys don't necessarily have to care at all because you can be on flying ships buzzing around these places. You can just drop in. But if you drop in, this is the type of battlefield that you're dealing with. So your targets are going to have like cover. If they duck in these aisles, in these alleyways, and take shots at you, you got to get down on the ground and be able to work with them, route them out. Anyway, that's the thought process behind that. So let's go to these guys out of the way. I can just delete that. But yes, this is a gotta have it. And then yeah, I bound that. That was dumb of me. Anyway, who cares? So big. It's a giant. So you can get on. You come in here. You get on here, and then you can climb your way around. So you can actually just drive your trucks on this. It's an easy piloting check unless you're being attacked. There's no reason to skew you for it. But once you're on this chain, that's just huge. I'm gonna do this. I'll do it like that. Then let's do this. Cut this on. Yes, this is how big that hook is. It's a huge hook. That's a big hook. No, leave that open. Oh God, that's fun. So yeah, that's what you're getting into. So you want to low-level characters. They want to get over here. This is going to be looking here at the map, like we were indicating. This is going to be a hot spot where we'll have devils here, and here's the demons. So we got to clear this. Like Zariel will come through, and she'll cleave through this line. So these devils need to displace and push that up. You need them all gone, because if thinking, sir. What is around here they could use? 500, 1500, 5, 10, 15, 10, 15. Okay, these guys can't be here. If there's siege weapons on this tower, there's no way that they're going to be this close. They got to stay the hell away. So if we get trebuchets set up on this, and let's just say that we're gonna, because it's a citadel, right? So we're gonna put trebuchets on this thing. There's trebuchet on these things. They've got a strike range of 1,500 feet, which means 3 squares. So you guys can do aerial softening of these troops, doing D8 times 10. It's a square. It's a 50-foot square, so it's going to be D8 times 100 damage that you're going to be dealing to these troops over here, and these troops are going to have the 50-foot scale, 5, 7, like probably like 800 hit points per square. So this is unlikely to take them out in one shot, but it could soften them up and take them out in a couple hits. So they need to stay 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is a safe spot, but this is not a safe spot. So sorry, I keep mincing on this. Mangonel is size large, and it does D10 damage. 5-foot scale. If we take that to the 50-foot scale. Thank you. 50-foot scale is a bunch of mangonels. So it's going to do D6 times 100. That jives. That's at the 50-foot scale. That's multiple squares inside that 50-foot scale. So that 50-foot scale sits inside of this. Yeah, multiple squares. The 50-foot scale fit inside a 500-foot. I'm still figuring it out. So 500 feet here, 50 foot at the 50-foot scale. We're going to be lobbing D8 times 10 damage. 500-foot scale is going to be times 100. So we're at this scale, we're doing 100 damage. Thank you. And devils being third rank squads are going to have 3,000 hit points per 500-foot square. That's right, it's the size of the square times 10 is the amount of hit points that you do. The size of the square it's the size of the square is the number of hit points that you have, and the weapon damage is the weapon damage that you do, and then it's the scale times 10 is the amount of hit points that you have. So at the 5-foot scale, you have 10 hit points per square before modifications, and you're doing like a D8 damage or potentially up to a D12 damage. At the 50-foot scale, you're going to have a minimum of 100 hit points per 50-foot scale, and you're going to be doing at most D12 times 10 damage. So you could potentially one-shot yourself without any mitigating effects. At the 500-foot scale, which is where we're at, it is times 100 damage, and it is 1 times 1,000 hit points. So each of these squares has a base 1,000 hit points, but devils and demons tend to be second or third rank creatures because of their CR. CR of 1 is first ranks, up to 1. Up to 5 is CR 2. Up to 6, 7, 8. Up to CR 9 is third rank. You multiply your rank times your scale. So a third rank squad of demons at the 500-foot scale, like if they can occupy that 500-foot square, then they are going to have a collective 3,000 hit points for you to tear out, and your siege weapon is doing their trebuchet, so they do D8 times 100 damage. So on average, they're going to do about 400 hit points. So that means that they're going to be lobbing damage, and it's going to take at least 10 hits on these devils to get them out of there. At the 500-foot scale, that's roughly every 10 minutes. For humans to walk, it's 10 minutes. So we can do passive damage to enemies in large scales like this at the 10-minute scale. It would take 1 minute. It would take 30, 300. It would take a minute of hustling to get from here to here. So 1 minute, 2 minutes. It'd be 3 minutes for the characters to get there. So, and if we have all the trebuchets firing, reloading, enough to do D8 times 100 damage, that's going to take 10 minutes. It's 10 times the scale of the movement of your characters. So that means that basically if you stay at the 10-minute scale and deal with this siege from afar, you're just basically making commands to deal damage over time. Every 10 minutes is a round, but then that could also sway the battle here. So in those 10 rounds, the devils could lose, and then the demons could round the corner, and now you have to deal with stuff that I don't have a map for, and I'm angry at you. We would have one support volley coming in from the trebuchets within range, and then you would have your 10 rounds of engagement with enemies in this square using this map to navigate around and again battle at the. There we go. That's why. Beep. There we go. So you can volley in one round here into this 500-foot scale, right? And basically saturate the enemies. And then however many hit points they have left is how many hit points the team has to deal with. So if the volley comes in and it does like 600 damage, and this square has 3,000 hit points worth of demons in it, then it's going to be softened 600 hit points worth, so they're only going to have 2,400 for you to deal with. You're going to be dealing 2,400 at the 50-foot scale like this. You're going to be dealing either well, you're 12th level, so you're going to be dealing D8 times 10 damage whenever you D8 times 10 damage every time you hit. So these things basically, that's comparable to your opponent, like your foe in this square, having 240 hit points and you're doing D8 per attack. But at 11th level, you've got anywhere from 3 to 6 attacks per round that you can make, depending on what kind of a fighter, or you got 3 if you're not a fighter, if you're not a martial at all, like a full caster. If you've got multi-attack at 5th level, then you've got 4, and if you are a fighter, you've got 5 at 12th level. So that's your action economy for attacking or moving, and so you can wheel yourself. So I can drop like there's a demon, like there's a demon heavy. Get out of here, you scallywag. There's like a demon heavy here. There's another demon here. There's demons here. There's demons here and here. There's devils here, here. Here we'll make this a devil, and we'll put a stream of demons coming from here. And then you've got the demons have a camp set up here. Devils, there you go. So if you can get, you kind of like have to maybe help the devils, help the demons, or help the devils. If you can get rid of this square and clear that out and take control of it, because your characters, here you go, you get the X. You take control of this square, then between you and the demons, you can crush the devils. And once the devils are gone, then you guys can go against this demon chain camp that's back here. This is their fortress defender line going on here, and like maybe there's like more that are chaining off this way to go stream off in this direction, and then this direction to head this way. But we're dealing with this block specifically, getting from here to here and dealing with all the stuff in between. So that's the challenge. That is this day's adventure for you to free up this chain. Not because you need to, not because you're on the ground, you need to run along and do this, but because these are the enemies that you're facing. We're going to give them ranged attacks, so if you just try to fly over the top, they'll be able to attack you while having tower, while having building structures defending their position, so that while you're flying overhead, they can all take shots at you, and they've got cover against you. So you need to drop down, land, and then zoom in a little closer, and then wheel your truck around here. So you can cut this guy. Like if you're here, you're gonna have to come over here and get to him here. Meanwhile, he's gonna be maneuvering as well. So, and then you guys can engage each other, and then, oh crap, he's got friends, so they're coming over this way. You're attracting attention. Here you go. And there's a demon generator here, so it sends out devils this way, and devils come in off of the chain as well. So they hit here, they go into the super dynamo, and then they come back out. So this is your ant path of tower defense that we're gonna play, and your team is attempting to punch your way into this mess. So each character can easily control. I mean, you're 12th level. You can easily control one square, but you can control, like if you're flying, you could have like a squadron, like multiple ships inside of each one of these squadrons, and while you're flying, you're going to be doing like 2d8 times 100 damage. Times 10 damage at this scale. And you can just, like, if you can get a beat on somebody, you just completely lay waste to them, no problem. But they could also be doing the same to you, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these units that are established here, and they can all take shots at you doing d8 times 10 damage, also with their own ranged weapons plus debilitating effects. So that's a challenge you got to face if you want to drop anchor and line these guys up. So you've got a caravan running down these streets to fight these things. You got your front line, and then you got your backup. So what is your order? Like, you could have your group of characters could be commanding a squad like this, so that you're all in the same squad, the same, basically, like it's like an Apache chopper team, or like an H-back assault chopper team, that you're going to have like 5 choppers per square, and then you've got your 4 characters, and you can move, and you can move independently and do your own things, but you can also group up and maneuver together in this little large size squad like this. So if you group up like that, one character can call the shots on where your actions go. But if you guys decide to break up and fragment into your own little troops, then you become responsible for your own action economy individually. So that's the best system that we've found so far for how to handle groups, squadrons, and larger fleets of things. It's like you can drill down, and like even inside of this space. So we're gonna do that. We'll zoom down here. It's like here's your battle map down here, right? So we're gonna deal with this map here. You're like this. You could grind down even further, and like here's our tormentor that we have, and here's like a squadron of heavy demons or whatever, and there's running down the way at a mob, and I've got my gunship here. So I'm going to get down low enough onto the street level so they don't have cover, because like if I'm up here and I'm trying to buzz around and shoot at them, they've got 3/4 cover. So I've got a -5 penalty to hit. If they're using a dodge action, there's no way I'm going to hit them. So I gotta drop down to the street level. I can still hover and skiff around and fly out if I need to, and buzz off to another area. But I can be running through here, so I get rid of any disadvantage on my attack rolls, and just mow through these guys. I clear out my square, so then we zoom back out, and I just X'd this square. So how many more squares do we have here? Like, this is my squadron over here, my chopper squad. So we've got the next obvious target is here. So we can zoom into this map here, and this map is here. This one is, it's like this, and it's like this. Like this. Like this. It goes like that. Yeah, so I then have I could drop in with my individual gunship again, and the next squad of demons, here they are. They could be different types. Maybe they're weird shaped like this, or whatever. I can do whatever I want. It's our own imagination. I can just make up demons as I go. I just know that at this scale, 3rd rank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 is going to be doing 6d8 damage when it hits you. So it's like some sort of giant necro worm that's going to like spit ass. I can just make this shit up as I go. I can just make a random table of like freaky demons that are running down the streets. Like, this is the purple worm demon, and like this is a slave driver that's got like a flame whip that's pushing this giant purple worm down the hall. And then like we got a bombardier back here, and we got a bombardier here. So these guys got ranged attacks. This guy has psychic attacks that can come at us, and then the worm is just throwing up bile and doing chompy bites. And we've got our demon grinder here, and we're going to grind through some demons and take out this block. And when we do, we can come back up here and we can bloop that one off. And by this point, we've probably spawned another one, so it's going to do its 1, 2. It only gets to move 2 because it's walking. But the whole chain spits out a new creature, so another one's going to come online. So now we got to advance, say to here, and then again gun this one down. Or the team could try splitting up and taking on like 2 versus 1. So like on this one, we could, what would that look like? Hold on, I'm building this one out. All right, I'm gonna get rid of all that, and I'm going to grab this one. And that. Here. Here. Oh yeah, that works out. Here. Here. Like, this is a good fight zone, right? That wasn't too hard for me to draw. Now we can drop our trucks in, and we can have our demons, and like you got 2 characters in this one, like these. Oh, I erased it. Like, you had 2 characters here that came in to try to take control of this quad, right? Oops, I'm totally on the wrong layer, dude. Thank you. There. So yeah, this is that zone that we just had down here. So we could, if we have 2 characters that are here and here, we can drop you in, and then you got your demons here. So we could have your characters in this square here. What was it like? It was like this. Here, and then like this, and then this was like that, and then here. There you go. That's roughly right. What is that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 feet. Okay, that's cool. So you get your trucks. You can fit you can easily fit a demon grinder into this space, and you could definitely fit a tormentor into this space, no problem. Shoot, you could open that space up, and you could squeeze a tormentor down this hole, down this tunnel if you needed to. But now you're making me spawn map over and over and over again, and I hate you for that. But if this, but as a product, as a printable product, each one of these is a 10-inch by 10-inch is a 10 by 10 space, right? So I could have you could print out 8.5 on 11, 8.5, just scale it down to 0.8 inches per square, or again, take your 11 by 17 page. It's a little expensive to print that out. If you're not going to use a VTT, you can easily do this as a modular map using just taking an 8.5 by 17 and just cutting it down to the right size. And then you use those scraps to make little dungeon rooms that you can just build a randomizer dungeon with. So this is a 8.5. This is an 11 by 17 that's been cut to a 10 by 10. This is an 11 by 17 that's been cut into a 10 by 10. And each one of these is pop them in next to each other and tile the entire thing. How many layers do we actually have in this place that we have to deal with? We got 1. So we got 1. Let's go with 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 by 10. So it's 70 pages you would have to print out of 11 by 17. Okay, I mean that's the level of depth that we're gonna go with. That's a lot of freaking maps, but we can do it. So we can do it. That's the project, and so that's what we will. That's ultimately what we're going to end up doing. That's going to be a huge project. I would, yeah, I need to hire somebody to do that. I don't think I have the bandwidth to build that out. But yeah, so that's the plan there. We have that there. So now we can pluck this. Yeah, pluck it. You're gonna pluck this so that we can grab it. We're gonna conceal this. What is it? Torm's Reach. Torm's Reach 50 foot. It's 1014. So I'm going to break this asset out. I'm going to drop them in the Roll20, and then I'll be done. It's getting late here, so that's enough. I mean, I've just BS'd my way through it. I just got to build some player cards so that you guys know what your stats are for your trucks. And then we'll be literally ready to roll. So give me a hot minute here while I grab a square tool. Square tool again. Come on, you noob. Oops, I didn't want to do that. We're going to try that again. I'm going to do it like this. There, and we can do that. We can copy here and then free, new, enter, paste. Why are you so offline? Thank you. How did you come in unsized? What? Why do you be? Jeez, my crew. There. Okay, great. So then we can merge this down. And save as equals JPEG. We'll just call it a PNG. Storm's Reach. Wow. Okay, and then we can drop this out. We can grab our grid again. Here. This is so ridiculously cool. I am just excited again. Just excited about everything involved with this project. So freaking cool. So I'm going to shut down. Yeah, you guys see. Okay, so finally we get to the Roll20 map, okay? So I can then open this up. And I can upload, and I can choose a file, and I can choose Ultra. And God's willing, it's going to be small enough to insert. We gonna work here, buddy? I should probably check to see how big that file is. In command of vehicles is playtest. How big are you? Oh, that's, yes, that is. Oh, that's not even the one I wanted. Go away. Oof, those are really big. I will give you that, sir. I'm gonna have to open this up. Go into. You know what? That's what we needed to do this whole time. Cancel that. Sorry, we gotta jump back into P Shop real quick. Where's my open button? What if I just choose one of you? Screw you, Oofus. Whatever. All right, jump back into Photoshop real quick. Don't mind me, just being a wreck. I forgot to resize the thing. So we're going to go to open, here, here, enter. Image size equals. I'm checking my Roll20 screen here real quick. Canceling here and going to here and checking my properties. So what is 70 times 30? Yeah, okay, 2100 is probably good enough. Awesome. 2100. There. Now we can save that. Let's go back to this guy. We're going to go to image. We're also going to make this one 2100. Oh, it's already so conservative. So we'll call it 1400 instead. There. Save that. All right, second verse, same as the first. Let's hope it doesn't get any worse. Let's pop the hood on this again, and then get back into commands, and then get into the vehicles, and then get to the playtest content. Let's see if I can just do a direct drag and drop. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're recognizing that. I am pleased. Okay, and what is your size, sir? Details. Nothing there for me, so we'll get rid of that. Let's go to here. Let's go to advanced. Thank you. Set dimensions. Width is 700. No. Don't do that. Let's try this again. 700. Let's, my brain's too fried. 2796 divided by 2. 700 by 1390. Thank you. I didn't realize you'd be such a twat about setting the dimensions, but I honestly appreciate it. So, hey, buddy. Thank you. It's going to be 1398. We'll set. One, two, three, four. And let's go to his drawing. There we go. What is upload file? Get the hell out of here. Oh, that's kind of cool. That was actually a feature, not a glitch. Come back, little buddy. You were grand. Oh well. Sad. Let's see. Oh my God, this is so small. This is so much less than I need. That's so grand. Okay, so let's go back to, where were we? Oh yeah, and then we want to grab this one. And this map is so huge. It's so needlessly low. This is great. I love it. This is like all the extra table space that you guys just totally don't need. There. Let's zoom in a bit. Is there a lock? Hell yeah. Lock position, baby. Not bad. All right, so we got that going. And then we can go. Ah, give me a break. Go like this. This is gonna be, let's go to advanced, set dimensions. Dimensions equal 21 by 711. 2100 by 711 equals set. Then we can move this one up to here. Okay, advanced is lock position. Lock. Very bold. Thank you for that. I love that it has that. Yeah, boy, this is a very minimalist space that we actually need to worry about. But, I mean, here's your characters and here's their trucks. So, that totally disappeared into the background. Let's try that again. Layer equals map. And here we go. Layer equals map. There we go. And we got our trucks. So when you show up on the scene on the city tonight, da 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 da. Oh, yeah, I kind of, oops, oh well, tore that one up, that was dumb. Cleared out the wrong damn map, oh well, chalked that one up to chalk. What did I just do? I feel like I just deleted something. What is going on? Like, how did you move position? Why did you move position? You should not have done that. I'm going to just freaking scream if I just destroyed all that bit. Nope, that's still, I mean, it's cool that that's still there, but is this the thing? Oh my freaking god. Where's my bits? Oh, I think I just found it. Hold on. Maybe I'm screaming for no reason. Boy, that was really just unnecessarily stressful. So we're going to go and we're going to put that right up front so we can't lose it. And we'll drop the players onto the map here so they can see the glory and splendor right away. But yeah, this is all we need. And we have this big blank area here that I can just come in and I can just screenshot and pluck out. So I'm going to go up here and let's get out of that screen so I can come back into here and hit the gearbox and change the color of the grid. And we're going to need to change that. No, wait, let's go back. That's good. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, great. So here we are, tearing it up, Torm's Rum. You got one character. I mean, each of your characters, you're running around. This is your dungeon, right? I mean, you can decide to lift off and fly at any time that you want, but I'm going to be able to attack you with melee weapon. I can hit you with siege weapons while you're above the. Can't act. If you try flying around, I'm going to hit you with siege machines. So you have to stay down and low. You can squeeze through these space in single file trucks, moving through these tunnels to play D&D. We're doing tunnel fighting in D&D, so you can see the whole thing. Oh, cool! So cool. While you're on this map, you can't see anything. If you drop down to the city level, I get to conceal. I get to come through and like block off all this stuff. You can't see any of this. That's not for you. Not until you decide to take off and fly around. But I'm going to block off that city. I'm going to block that off. You can't see anything there. Can't see anything there. But you can see the edge falling away into the river Styx here, and you can see this giant meat hook that just hangs, like literally it's 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. It's a 250-foot structure. It's a 25-story chain chunk that's just latched into the side of your city. And your job is to push this space back. So when Zariel comes through and takes swaths at it, as she will, you got to clear up enough space that you're not just fighting demons coming at you. You're not taking shitloads of catapult fire from demons on the ground when Zariel comes through. You want to secure the city to be your own. You got to clear it out anyway. So if you can push back the forces, you can then have troops behind you come in, and you can drop troops on as a stamp, as a tower defender here, so that you can lock this chain down and make it your own. And once you have all the chains under control, then you can choose to dig them up and unlatch it from the city in correspondence with you getting the archangel that was used to bring it here in the first place, to freeze Ariel and release the city, unhook all the chains, and they can just float back up to the material plane and land back in Faerun where it was supposed to be. So that's our plan. You can hop up over the why is that happening? Oh, right, wrong tool. Stupid freaking doesn't recognize my pen. That infuriates me. But yeah, so that's each character will have, we'll probably have Rose Warrior in with us, and I think we got Hornetico and Tyler, who you guys are showing up in the Suras. I think we've got a fairly decent sized posse with us this time that you guys can all just run around. I mean, this may or may not be the icons that you guys use, but this is you guys running around in a dungeon on the backs of your trucks. So when we scale back out, if you're doing truck stuff, we can just we'll just have your truck in here. So we can just keep the truck on the sideboard over here. So now all I gotta do is stat out the trucks for you using your characters, give you a character sheet to with all the relevant stats, and you're ready to go. So that's our playtest. That's how I can't believe we got through that. But I'm so excited about how these mechanics can be used. They're so freaking fun. And it's just D&D. It's just bigger, and it's just different, and it's cool. There's the upcasting cost. Here, I'll show you upcasting costs. Hold on. So when you're affecting 50-foot squares, you have to upcast the cost by 1. If you're casting a 3rd level spell, you can still cast the 3rd level spell. It'll cost you 1 additional level worth of spell slots, just a 1st level spell, or if you spend a 3rd, you can break it down into a 2nd spell slot remainder as long as you have open spots for your 2nd level spell. Otherwise, the level's wasted. You can only Coffee Lock is broken. You can't have more, in my opinion, for this. You can't have more, or you could if you allow Coffee Lock, then you could have more spell slots than your normal maximum. But the way the system is designed is to regain a 2nd or 2 1st level spell slots, not stack up extra spell slots if you regain them. So if you've been low casting, if you're keeping your 1st level spells to pay for the cost of upcasting by 1, you're basically using your 2nd, 3rd, and we're 12th level. So that's all the way up to 6th level spells. You can cast up to a 6th level spell to affect the 50-foot scale and still and just be burning 1st level spell slots. You burn through all your 1st level spell slots, you can burn a 5th level spell slot, or 2, like a 2nd and a 3rd level spell slot, or it's like, it'd be a 3rd level spell slot, and you can burn that down to a 2nd level spell slot instead. Or you can break it up into a slew of 1st level spell slots to refill your battery on 1st level spell slots, so you can just keep chucking out spells. You can increase the range and the blast radius of area of effect spells. But they don't increase in damage. They can just damage a larger area is what you're doing. You can. Oops. Where were we scaling down to? This was such a blessing, the Spelljammer book, because it let us build at the largest scale and see how easy the system is to use at the 50-foot scale, building these 500-foot area, air bubble ships in space, and to see what little do we actually need to add to this command system document to make it work. And once we realized how little is actually needed to make command mechanics work at any level scale, now it's just easy to build the Avernus trucks down to a smaller scale. So when you're throwing things at 50 feet instead of 5-foot range on maps, like if you're going to throw a fireball and you want that fireball to eat up a 200-foot radius instead of a 20-foot radius, yeah, you're just going to upcast it by 1. But all these buildings that you have is going to give anyone that's in those corridors advantage on the saving throw, plus bonuses to the saving throw, and potentially not take any damage for going down these tunnels. So AoEs have very limited effects. Direct damage stuff, like if you pump a snaring strike into a harpoon flinger and then chuck that, then when it hits the truck, it'll unleash the ensnaring strike spell onto the truck. and the truck is considered the pilot, or whoever's in command of the truck. If you're controlling multiple trucks with verbal commands, then it's still going to use all of your saving throws, unless the truck has a better saving throw. And most of these trucks are built out of metal, which means they got +5 to dex, they got +5 to con, and only like +1 to dexterity saving throws. But you're the pilot, so you're going to use your dexterity saving throws. Presumably, you're going to put the rogue on the pilot, because his dex is wicked good, and it totally applies. So, oh god, it's just... This will be ready on Saturday morning for the team to play. I think as it stands, we could probably sustain 5 just dungeon crawly stuff, and we're just going to try to use just a bunch of different abilities. And again, anytime they try to lift themselves out of the trenches of the city streets, they get targeted by the melee weapons at range, just like the melee weapons from the Citadel target any demons that get up off the street. So that's why they keep staying low in the streets, because they can crawl through them like fox trenches to try to get to the Citadel. So the Citadel is holding off this long range stuff, but it's also got the issue of demons climbing up the side of the cliff. So there you go. There's different scenarios. I'm super excited. I'm really looking forward to this Saturday. I could see us spending 4 hours on this, and it's probably going to just feeling more of the same. It's just, is this cool? Yeah, this is freaking cool. So let's just do this thing, and it's just a very small piece of all the stuff that you could do. So you could scale in, like during this conflict, we could be, where are we at? So you got these 8 chains that you have to deal with, and you could have enough troops amassed at this point that you could be commanding 500-foot squads of trucks or demons or holy knights or whatever. You could have them going to occupy. You choose which of these chains do you want to go after, and then on top of that, you also have control of the Citadel. So your characters can actually be out here hoofing through here to head off. Like in this scenario, we're going to take over this one. This one's the worst off. This deserves your attention, your personal attention, to save the city. But while you're doing that, you're also relaying with signal back at the Citadel, which one of these pylons do you want to saturate with siege weapon fire? Is it within reach? Each one of these squares has a 1500 trebuchet have a 1500-foot range, so they can hit here, they can hit here. Like that's, what is that? That's going to be 1. That's 1, 2, 3. You can hit there. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God! Can we hit the entire thing? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow. 1, 2, 3. Shit, out of reach. 1, 2, 3. Out of reach. 1, 2, 3. Out of reach. This whole line is just outside trebuchet range. So it requires your character to go through here and knock this out. And once you secure this area, that can be a staging ground that the rest of your troops can come out of the Citadel and secure this area. Like you got frost giants here, and like you drop a wasp citadel here. You've got Zariel's Fallen here. You've got the Infernal War Machine gangs here, and then on this side you've got this is all skirmish, and you're coming around the bend here, and you're using Citadel to hit anything that crosses this line. So it's like the devils are here, and you're backstopping them with your own siege weaponry. So it's you who has to come in here and sweep this out, and then sweep this out, sweep this out, sweep this out, and leave troops behind you when you do, so they can just start targeting anything that tries to come up the chain. So is that a cool game or what? Is this a fun little mini game? Like, this is super cool. Is this what Hasbro's planning on doing with Dragonlance? Probably not. But I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they will, but this is how you should totally be playing this game. This is like the best Descent in Avernus ever. So I got to build this out. But I mean, for now we can just zoom in and just just use cheap reprints out of the book. They give them to us. You can carve it up this way, but if I'm going to be honest about things, I should build things, like build my own things, and put them in here for the characters to just make it a professional product that's, you know, that's worth people spending money on. But once this command product, like the Spelljammer's first, and you'll have all this, like this is the kind of stuff that you'll have for Lights of Xerxes. And you've seen us build out all of that stuff already, so you know it's going to work. And then once that's out, we can then build the Infernal War Machines, and with the we can build out the squads and Infernal. I really feel like Infernal War Machines should be its own book. But once we have Spelljammers and then Infernal War Machines and then Foot Soldiers, we can then rebuild any adventure that Wizards of the Coast has produced and operate at this scale to mix up your engagement and the type of battles that you're having. So if you want to conduct an Avernus campaign and stay at the 500-foot scale the entire campaign, you can do that. Or you can scale in. You can make it a bunch of these like board game, mini game challenges. But yeah, this is in command of El Terrell. That's what this one's called. So if you've stuck with me this entire time, God bless you. I really hope that you are as excited about this game system as I am. Check the link down below in the description. There's a link to my DMsGuild books. There's a bundle there. It's 36% off. So you're only paying 2/3 the price. It's $30 worth of alternate spellcasting mechanics. That most of it's color mana mechanics for the MTG enthusiasts out there, but it also has a universal spell point system that's an alternate, much more flexible, much more intuitive system than what the DMG provided, that actually balances with the spell casting that you have from spell slots. So it's really well built, and the big thing is that it's cover to cover, 100% preview. You can read the entire thing. I invite you to run an entire 20th level campaign. I typically finish a normal weekend campaign of 3 or 4 hour sessions. I typically finish those in a year. So if you want to take the material and play a campaign for the year, and when you're convinced this stuff is good at some point along that way, come back and buy it all. Buy all my shit, because it's all that way. I make everything 100% preview. And I set a fair price for it, and I bundle it all together, and I create cool shit that's a free download for you guys to actually use the resources that we're creating to make your games better. So like, subscribe, share, please comment, follow me on Twitter, join me on Patreon, purchase some of my books, and definitely follow and just log in the hours for me. Because I need another 3,500 hours, and I need another 900 subscribers for me to get paid by YouTube to do this stuff at night and during lunchtime and on the weekends. My family is understanding of the process that we're trying to do here, that we're building something that, God's willing, I'll be able to keep thinking like this and doing these things for maybe another 30 or 40 years. Just keep building out better tools for you guys. The game that we love, just make it more fun. Anyway, that's enough hubris from me. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, blah de blah. I'll see you guys. I might be on Saturday. If I am, it's Crystals of Mabar. Otherwise, you'll see more Crystals of Mabar on Monday night. Monday lunch is going to be Martial Powers Monday. I need to go back and try to redo the multi-class spellcasting. I was having some hiccups with that, not only technically, but also mechanically in my mind. I didn't have my head screwed on straight, so I wasn't walking through the content properly, but I've had a chance to figure out what it is that I want to say with that and what I want to get into the document. So we're going to redo that on Monday. And God's willing, I'm going to get some commentary back from Ukulele and commentary back from Stuart, so that I can move forward with both of those documents. And hopefully in the next couple weeks, both of those are going to be back here on stream doing layouts and artwork and building books from the text that we have, and just dreaming content into existence that makes this dream of a game even more fun to play. So that's enough of an outro. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the other side.